Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Kevin Ruane. Councilwoman Holly Smith.
Present.
Fran Meyer. Councilman Liston Bouchette. Pam Cronin.
Here.
Tony Lappy.
Here.
Jay Johnson.
Here.
Rob Wells.
Here.
Councilman Bill Steinke.
Here.
Councilman Larry Fiesel. Here. Councilman Nigel Fullick. Mayor Dan Allers, Bill White Chulis, and Brian Kramer are excused. We do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Public to be heard. Any public would like to be heard? Anybody have anything they want to say? Okay. I'll close public to be heard. Municipalities to be heard.
Good morning. My name is Ashley Anderson. I'm from the Economic Development Office in the City of Cape Coral. Good morning. So today I want to give you an update on some of the events that happened in December, but then also forward thinking of what is to be expected in the next few months. So catching up on the Cape, I just wanted to mention that we had one of the biggest land deals that have took place in Lee County recently, called Hudson Creek. And it will be a mixed-use master plan development that happened in December. You probably have seen the news on that. And it was sold for $1 million, and it's a 1,745 acre in Northwest Cape. And the reason that's important is because it will have a lot of commercial space, hotels, and a lot of places that will be very interesting for tourists when that's completed. And also, the second annual New Year's Eve celebration took place, and that's also notable because we had almost 15,000 people come for that event, and that's 25% more than last year. And then the holiday boat along came about, and 80 boats registered to participate, and we had about 4,000 attendees on that. And then the reindeer run, I don't know if anybody participated in that, but we had about 415 people sign up to run. So that was really exciting. And then a look ahead, we have our Tour de Cape. Who is participating in that? Nobody, maybe. But it's really interesting and it's really exciting. It's going to take place on January 17th to 19th. We also have our bike night coming up in February, and our second annual Waterways Science Festival that's going to be happening in February from 10 to 4. It's also a free event that is really interesting if you wanted to pass that along to your networks. And then we always have our Cape Coral Farmers Market hosted by the Chamber every last Saturday of every month from 8 to 1. And then just to note that we are continuing our industry roundtables. I believe tomorrow, we're having our workforce and education sector come and speak to the city about challenges, interests, opportunities, and then we're going to also be having our next one on healthcare. I just wanted to also mention a tourism spotlight that is in need of a little bit of boost, and that is something that you can spread across your networks. Our 4 Mile Cove Ecological Preserve and Rotary Park, I don't know if anyone knew this, but They are having a Native American medicine walk. So you can walk through the forest and determine what is medicinal and edible plants that you can recognize and identify. To book any of that, you just contact the Rotary Park. And here are some of our updated, just to keep you in the loop on the current projects and developments that are happening in Cape Coral that tourists will love once they take. It will also include a hotel that is desperately needed in Cape Coral. And if you need any particular updates on that, you can see me afterwards. Bimini Square is another investment project that is taking place that you probably already aware of, but that is also going to have some tourist elements to that, retail, boat slips, waterfront restaurant, a place where people can go if they're here on vacation and stay also. Seven Islands Gateway Resort, Golf Gateway Resort, also will have a hotel resort. They also, I believe, have a lagoon planned. That will definitely be a place where people will go and visit. That's also really exciting, and that's also in the works as well. Cape Coral Grove project, that's a $700 million project, which is proposed to have retail, dining, also a very touristy location that people will be visiting and enjoying. And that is going to also have a 138 hotel room space. So I'm just kind of mentioning those now in case you're not aware of them, so we can dig into a little bit further and just to keep it on your radar as they progress. And every month we promote, not necessarily promote, but we showcase some of the businesses that are happening in Cape Coral. This last month we had Trebbing Tile and Carpet, Balke Realty, Joy Screen Repair, and Dupers Poopers. These are all businesses that we wanted to showcase. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me after, and have a nice day.
That land purchase, the big $100 million, 1,700-acre one, how far north of Pine Island Road is that piece of property? I was having a hard time seeing it on.
Yeah, sure. It's between Burnstore Road and Wilmington Parkway, if you know where that location is. Yeah, if that answers your question.
About 2 miles. 2 miles north of that. 2 to 3. It's just on the other side of Tropicana. And I'm assuming the main access would be off of Burnstore going into
Yes.
the area.
Yeah. It's going to have, I think, 200 acres of commercial frontage. So if you kind of can guess where that is, yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Last time I did get an applause. I don't know if that's possible this time. If not, that's okay. We can resume.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next on the agenda is special presentation, Santa Barbara Captiva Chamber, Mr. John Lai.
Good morning, Commissioner Ruane and Council. And my name is John Lai, for the record, President and CEO of the Santa Barbara Captiva Chamber of Commerce. Thank you all very much. How we're doing out on the islands, some of the things that we are looking forward to in this year, and then looking back at how we wrapped up 2024, we would not have been able to do it without your help. So thank you very, very much. Start off right here. This was taken, an aerial shot by our agency, where we really wanted to showcase, after the renourishment project, approximately 125 yards between the water line and the edge of the fencing there for the lighthouse. And so we're very, very excited. The feedback that we've gotten from this project has been phenomenal. Through the visitor center, we're seeing about 82 people a day through that visitor center, and actually that was last year's numbers. For January, we're seeing on average 110 people per day. But this is the single biggest, most popular comment that we're getting, is how different this Lighthouse Beach Park looks and feels, and how people love recreating on that. Folks that are staying in hotels are making their way down there to make sure that they get selfies in front of the lighthouse. So if you've not done that yet, I recommend you do that. Last time we talked was in August, and sadly, these numbers have not changed much. We had a couple. I've combined them to call them Hilton, Hurricanes Helene and Milton, and so we are still hovering around the 35% mark combined between Sanibel and Captiva. We are just under 28% on Sanibel and 55% on Captiva. Captiva's numbers are in large part thanks to Twin Waters and South Seas, and then looking at Sanibel, we've got some things in green that are coming online very soon. So we are very optimistic, because when we look here at February's numbers, we are forecasted to be at 46% of our pre-in inventory by Valentine's Day, and a lot of that is right around the corner. We just cut a ribbon at Ocean's Reach, which has 40 of their 65 units online right now, with the additional 25 coming online by February 14th. We'll see 55 units at Casa Isabel coming back online. Sanibel Beach Club, their rental program opened up with 61 units. Sanibel Inn will reopen with 98 units, along with Dante's Restaurant on February 1st. 80 units will be back at Sundial on February 1st, with an additional 20 coming online in March 1st. They're all pacing around 80% from day one when they open their doors. And 46% of our pre-Ian inventory, like I said, is estimated by February 14th. Shalimar, Colony Inn are both projected in the fall, and we're happy to announce that we've seen shovels in the ground at Beachview. So we are very, very excited about what's to come this year. Just looking back at Irma in the Keys, what our friends down there have told us is once they broke the 42% mark, they had critical mass to support the 90. We have 90% right now of our non-accommodations businesses reopened, and they were able to support all of their non-accommodations businesses with 40% of their occupancy, of their pre-Irma occupancy. So right here, we is looking back at the Chamber's 2024. We have a lot to be thankful for, and once again, it wouldn't be possible without your help. We had 54 new members, 121 re-engaged members, and what that means is we had comped a lot of the memberships that could not afford to pay us once they reopened after Ian, and of the 160 that we ended up comping, 121 have been back online and have repaid and have rejoined. We averaged over 82 people a day through the visitor center, and that over 82 is like 82.4. So whoever that 0.4 for person is, we thank them for coming in. But through January, and actually from December 25th to now, we're seeing over 100 people per day through the visitor center doors, which is encouraging to us. We were able to bring back events such as Luminary and Islands Night, and those both saw pre-Ian attendance numbers. The Wander Map has had over 200,000 unique downloads. For your edification, we were given 2 years complimentary on that platform, and because of the most popular tool in our toolbox, and I'll show you a little bit more about that later. Over 1.37 million website visits with over 1 million referrals to our member businesses, which is telling us that the demand for our islands are still there, and they're still strong, and we are very, very excited about that. And once again, our social media remains strong with a reach of over 3 million people, and our 50th anniversary campaigns have garnered over 6.7 million impressions. Here are a couple ads that we took out with Florida Weekly, Sun Media, and a couple other digital platforms. Where they're coming from, and we're seeing that it's working. And so a lot of times with print ads, it's hard to find the ROI, but with this, we are able to track that and report back to. Our Save the Shore campaigns that ran in Lee, Collier, and Charlotte County, we extended out to Broward and Palm Beach this year, and we're able to list out all of the dining and culinary options that are available on both Sanibel and Captiva, and we were very, very excited to report that our restaurants have come back to us and said that this not only worked, but people were bringing in the ads to show them. So we're excited there as well. As of right now, our restaurants have reported that 2 to 3 days a week they're seeing waits for dinner seating. It's the first time I've ever been happy to hear that I have to wait 30 minutes to get a seat. And I promise every year, it seems, that I will not complain about traffic next year or ever again. And I have to hold myself accountable to that at some point. Our first Luminary event since 2021 was one of our best ones yet. We featured Matt Devitt, some fluffy cows, and some miniature horses. Apparently that's a secret sauce because it worked really, really well. We had an awesome night, and according to our island traffic counter that sits right outside the chamber, we had the second highest traffic flow on that date since our traffic counters had been reinstalled after Hurricane Ian. So we are very, very encouraged by that as well. Once again, I'm going to show off the Wander Map because it has turned out to be an amazing platform for us and works continuously very, very well. They've built in some additional tracking for us, and this is a horrible lot better on the screen actually than it is on the projector. But what we're able to see here is not only where people have downloaded the platform, but also in the red, yellow, and orange, how long they've stayed on that platform. And so we're seeing that not only are they, concentrated obviously in the Northeast and up and down the Eastern Seaboard, but we're seeing our international travelers as well download our platform and stay on it for length of time. This is a little creepy, but also something I enjoy watching is where, once they've downloaded it, how they're traveling. And we can actually, it allows us to zoom in. So once if we look at, I can filter by day and see once they've downloaded it at the chamber. That's actually Sanibel underneath that where they're traveling. So once they've downloaded it at the chamber or at a restaurant or wherever they are, we can see where they're going throughout the state. Makes a lot of sense for us to be able to figure out where people are going once they've downloaded the map and how long they're staying on it. We're able to run, what we've done recently is run some Facebook Live events on the islands just to show people where, in real time, what the islands look like, how the water quality is, how the accommodations look. We've done Tween Waters, we've gone out with Captain Brian, we've gone to the Lighthouse Beach, and each one of them is seeing tens of thousands of views from beginning to end. Tween Waters had over 31,000 views as of 3 days ago. We had a vacation rental that we did that had 39,000 views. And these are 30-minute videos and people watching them from beginning to end. We're very, very excited about that. And once again, in conclusion, just want to say, we had a fantastic year. We've put together a brief video for you just to recap it for you once again, but it wouldn't be made possible without all of you. So thank you very much. Just a quick video right now.
As we kick off 2025, let's take a moment to look back at some of the wins from 2024. We had an increase of 121 active members to the Chamber. It was a year of exciting events, including Chamber Luncheons, our annual Islands Night, our beloved Luminary Stroll, and most importantly, we celebrated 46 ribbon cuttings across Sanibel and Captiva. We launched and ran a successful campaign to bring local visitors back to the island, resulting in over 1 million impressions. We launched digital ads for Sanibel's 50th anniversary to raise awareness for the celebration. Our social media presence continued to grow in reach and followers through both organic and paid content. Our website had over 1.3 million visits that resulted in over 1 million referrals to our member businesses. The Wander Map continued to act as a great resource for those visiting the islands. Our visitor center continued to be a beautiful place to greet new and returning visitors both in person and by phone. We're looking forward to an even better 2025.
So happy 2025 to everyone, and I could probably just have let her say it all. So thank you very much for your time.
I'm going to go back to municipalities because if I closed it prematurely and anyone else wanted to speak, I'll give you an opportunity. I apologize. I have 10 people, that's what I'm going to guess. Nobody?
I was just going to make a comment based on John's presentation. A lot of that, the TDC stepped up and helped us economically and giving us some funding for marketing. And a lot of what we've done could not have been done had we not had the partnership with the TDC and the funding coming forward as we look to our economic recovery. So thank you very much for that partnership.
I think it's a great investment, and obviously we're all coming back. We come back to one in my mantra since I head up the recovery. We really want to see the cost back to one and so forth. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Let's start with the bed tax report for November. Collections came in at $2.8 million. That's an increase of 2.5% over November of '24. And of course, the year-to-date, we only have 2 months there, so you see a slight decline over the previous fiscal year. In terms of where that November fell in comparison to previous years, we sort of lean back to 2019, ahead of 2019, certainly way behind 2021, but not a surprise there. Star Report saw an increase in occupancy in November. ADR lagged a bit, so therefore overall RevPAR down 1.5%. And then let's look at the key data report. Oh, wait a minute. Here's that occupancy month compared to the last few years, so you can see how things look. Again, pretty on par with November of 19, nowhere near November of 22. And then we'll look at key data. Occupancy up in the vacation rentals about 10%, and RevPAR up as well. Nice increase in ADR there to be coupled with the occupancy. Again, only 31.5%, but stronger than past Novembers. And then you can see how that looks in context, lagging a bit, but still nice to see those ADR numbers, definitely the highest in that run. So a bit of good news there. As we have been doing, we're tracking our hotel room openings, and I'm very excited that we are almost to the point where I can say 80% recovered in terms of room nights, or available rooms, excuse me. And as John mentioned, there are some properties that we know will be opening. I know the Best Western at Fort Myers Beach is right on the cusp of opening, almost 100 rooms there. So I think we will, fingers crossed, bust through that 80% mark when I report to you the next time. And a big thank you to all our partners for taking all of our phone calls. We appreciate that, and hats off to Nick for taking charge of this room count as well. Activity at the airport down a smidge in November, but calendar year to date you see up 10.4%. And with that, I'm going to invite Ray up to give us the communications report. Ray Saraceno, you're on, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, folks. Good morning, Council. Thanks for having me. Clicker. And kick it off with the number of journals we've hosted since October 1st to now. We've had 22 journalists in the market, in the destination. What's kind of interesting about that number is there's 4 different countries listed there, of course, U.S., but we had 5 from Colombia and 2 more from Brazil. And those are both markets we haven't traditionally gone after, but Visit Florida has been instrumental in helping us with that and talking to us about getting people in here. So we've been working closely with them and continuing that relationship, and it's really paying off. We've done really well with that, and we continue to host on a regular basis. So some of the places we take them to, one of the things that we're doing more of now is actually once somebody gets here is encourage them and encourage the partners we work with who they visit to talk to them, to just get out there and have a chance to not just experience it as a customer, but to get the story of the personal story usually of the proprietor of the business. So one of the groups we had actually was from Lansing, Michigan, and that was a group of journalists from Lansing to commemorate Breeze Airways when they arrived here, having direct flights straight from Lansing. And I don't know if that's the first time we've done it. It's certainly the first time I've done it, but it was great to work actually with Collier and get that group down here and show them around a little bit and basically give them the opportunity to show people in Lansing what's going on and what they could do when they get here. And some of the coverage we've received, there's some Colombia and Germany on there. Colombia is an interesting market. It's a very heavy print newspaper market. Naturally there's a lot of internet activity as well, but it's still very traditional in that sense. And one of the things I like is that they're very visual oriented. So a lot of the presentation, as you can see from the middle piece, is nice graphics and good information they get out there for us. So it's really kind of interesting. I'm hoping that, interested to see where that's going to develop, and I think it's going to continue to reap rewards for us. And then lastly, I'm happy to report that Travel and Leisure named Sanibel one of 50 best places to travel in 2025. Which was a really nice piece, great element, and we're happy to have that kind of attention from a publication of that magnitude. And impression-wise, the numbers continue to reflect great interest in the destination. I had been practicing saying that for the last few days, so I had to get it out there. Thank you for indulging me. I know you could read it, but it's personal for me, so I appreciate that very much. Thanks for your patience. So interest remains high, and we're happy about that. We want to keep those numbers high. We want to keep people coming here, and we want to keep telling our destination story through earned media. So also had an interesting week. We hosted a satellite media tour. So basically what it is we work with a satellite media company to conduct interviews, radio and television interviews about the destination. And it's sort of like speed dating. We did 26 interviews Tuesday. And actually the 3 of us on the team split it up into 2-hour blocks. And I feel it went really well. Technically, production-wise, we had a couple of live hits as well, one of them in Portland, Oregon, which we just got back, and it was great. But my favorite part was this was one special guests in this case, which was we had 2 commissioners, Commissioner Mullica and Commissioner Pendergrass joined us, and Fort Myers Mayor Kevin Anderson also joined us for that, and it went really, really well. You can see that's just part of the setup, part of the production, but we hosted it at Margaritaville, so shout out to the Margaritaville folks, Fort Myers Beach. Great day, great backdrop, and just went very, very well for us. And we continue to... Yes, ma'am. The timing was related to... I'm sorry. Forgive me. I totally missed that in my notes here. Thank you. So January 28th, the last Tuesday in January, is National Plan for Vacation Day. And it's one of the national days, of which there are many, but it's naturally very dear to us. So that was what the satellite media tour was actually hinging on as far as a hook went. So we will see a lot of those interviews coming out in the next couple weeks, but focusing on January 28th. And internally, we continue to produce our award-winning Shellcast, a beach break for your ears. Jackie Parker puts that out, and the last one was Sanibel's Time Capsule, the unveiling, and went really well, a lot of interest in that. And we also do our monthly Industry Partner Spotlight video, which has been going on for a little while, and this month was Pierre Bastien from Blue Rendezvous French Bistro, which is a small bistro on Sanibel. And interesting story about the couple. They moved here specifically to Sanibel. It was very deliberate. They chose Sanibel as a location, came here. The couple themselves have been married for decades, and they met at Cordon Bleu Institute in France, in Paris, became chefs, worked their way up, and had started a family, and realized they needed a little bit more security at the time than they were getting. So he became a motorcycle police officer in Paris, and they did it almost 20 years, and knew when he was going to retire that they were going to come to the States and open a restaurant. So to fulfill their dream, here they are, and very nice people, very, very nice bistro, and they seem to be doing really well, getting a lot of interest there. And just want to point out, we're full season now. Generally, what we try to do is throttle back on the number of journalists we have come in. So that's why we had a bigger push last quarter. We do kind of ones and twos right now, small groups. I do want to keep them coming. I do try to keep them coming and keep the earned media pushing hard on that. So we have a few coming up. We just had Jennifer Weatherhead and her husband, who are Canadian travel journalists. She's actually, if you do a Google search on her, she's a pretty frequent contributor to major television networks in Canada. So lovely couple. They're actually still in town. I believe they're recording from Pink Shell today. So they're actually putting their stuff out. But it was great to work with them. We got a chance to take them out. They did Sanibel Captiva, came out to Cabbage Key. And what I love about them is they're hardworking people. They were shooting the whole time, and that's exactly what we want, is just to have people out there getting visuals of everything we have to offer. Princess Grace Kelly is coming to us in February. Okay, she's not Princess Grace. That was an age joke there. That was a weak one. All right. Grace Kelly is a journalist from UK who's coming next month to join us. And then in April from Germany, we have Christopher Muskes, and it's also part of a Visit Florida program. So, pending any questions, that's my presentation. Yes, sir.
Just a question on the Colombian and Brazilian markets. When they come, what's the idea is to, I love expanding our reach for sure.
Oh, yeah.
How do they get, what's the idea as to how they would do this vacation? Because there's not very good lift to here, obviously.
It's kind of a yes and no thing. Basically, Visit Florida has been pushing hard on those markets. They have contractors down there. So what's happened is Colombia, particularly, and Brazil, the number of travelers they have are, as a percentage of the population, isn't huge as far as vacationers to the United States, but the ones who do come from a demographic standpoint are very desirable. So what's been happening is they've been coming to Miami and Orlando. And Miami and Orlando, naturally, flights go straight into Miami. What we're finding, what Visit Florida is reporting, is that they're trying to expand their horizons a little bit, to try different areas. And they've done the big cities, and they still do. But what we're looking at is sort of siphoning off, particularly trips, as they arrive in Miami, maybe having them here for 5 or 6 days, similar to what we're doing with UK, who are traveling to Tampa, trying to get them down here for a few days and get them to the islands, get them to the beaches and the neighborhoods here. So that's where that's coming. It's still a relatively new effort on their part, but I think it's going to pay dividends. And I think for us, we're uniquely positioned. A lot of the Visit Florida trips take them through Bradenton, through Punta Gorda, south of Tampa, north of Miami kind of thing. And we are fortunate to sort of have rolled into that itinerary for them, and we'll try to keep that going.
And Rob, I would just add to that, you know, like any vacation, you go to one place a lot, you start venturing out, right? And, you know, I think they think that, you know, we're at the point where they're ready to start, you know, and it's certain segments of that market, obviously a little more mature segment, more interested in a little more laid back approach. So it's of benefit to us. And I think, you know, we'll see. I won't say it's the first time we've done it, but, you know, every time we have somebody, we switch jobs, we think when we do something, we do it the first time. But in reality, you know, it is a tricky market for us, as we know, you know, nightlife here and all, you know, all the issues we all know, you know, we're a little more, you know, farmers on this side, up with the sun, down with the sun. But I do think that, you know, it's an opportunity for us and one we're exploring and certainly working with them on. And you know, Visit Florida understands who we are and what we can deliver upon as well. And so we're really being very careful about who we're hosting and how we're doing that. It's not, you know, just any, you know, Brazilian journalist that comes through, you know, through the state. So.
Well, I mean, for example, we had a Brazilian couple come through, and it turns out he was of German extract, and he's here during Oktoberfest. So we took him out to Oktoberfest, and that became a story unto itself. But the other major aspect, particularly for Columbia, is it's a younger demographic, even though it's very family-oriented, and they're interested in adventure travel. There's a lot of interest in nature. There's a lot of interest in quieter. So to dovetail onto Tam's comment, you know, it's less about nightclubs and nightlife and more about kind of getting back to nature, getting on the water, experiencing unique things we have to offer that they won't be able to get anywhere else.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. You bet.
Now I will ask Erin to come up and get started with the sales report. She'll be joined by Charm on the international side. Erin will cover domestic.
Good morning, Council. For the record, I'm Erin Lester, Senior Sales Manager. Here are the year-end results for this past fiscal year's sales goals. As you can see, we had a great year and surpassed all 6 of our goals. Because of this, we took an aggressive approach when setting our sales goals for our new fiscal year. Since then, we have experienced 2 highly publicized hurricanes, one right after the other, which I believe has contributed to why we're slightly behind pace for RFP room nights that we have sourced and those being booked by our hotel partners. However, we are only 500 room nights sourced behind the same time last year, so I'm confident that we will make up this shortage by the end of this fiscal year. And thankfully, we're close to pace for the remaining 4 goals. Group media, here are just a few examples from last quarter. For meetings media, we produced 4 video shorts highlighting an overview of the destination, meeting spaces, accommodations, and group activities. For our meeting planners' convenience, we will make these easily accessible on the meetings page of our website. And just to give you an idea, here's a peek of our meeting spaces video.
Fort Myers has large conference resorts, waterfront hotels, and a host of boutique properties, many of which offer over 3,000 square feet of designated meeting space. There are on-site and off-site, indoor and outdoor options. Plan an immersive meeting experience at the convention center or a conference resort. Everything you need for your meeting is right here, including flexible space, food and beverage services, and event support. The award-winning hotels in the Fort Myers area are perfect for mid-sized groups, and most are within 30 minutes of Southwest Florida International Airport. Discover features and amenities that will exceed your expectations. Bring teams to a historic home, sustainable farm, or wildlife refuge to encourage outside-the-box thinking. You can explore more meeting spaces on our website, or our team can make personalized recommendations for your group. Over and out!
All right, so for our travel trade media, our Wellness Travel University program was promoted through a specialty course e-blast this fall. The course educates travel advisors on our wellness facilities and activities. Just in the month of September, the open rate was 13% higher than the benchmark, and over 240 travel advisors have registered to take the course. Also, this course is available on the travel trade page of our website. For our weddings media, also this fall, we placed a 2-page spread with bridal guide featuring a full-page print ad, an advertorial, and an Instagram story feature. These ads received over 5.4 million impressions, meaning over 5.4 million people saw these ads, and this contributed to us being close to pace to achieve our weddings lead goal. Here are the group sales team activities for last quarter. Lauren Hypes attended IMAX America. This is the largest hosted buyer show in North America and reported a record attendance this year with over 5,700 meeting planners. Once again, we are in the Visit Florida booth, whose location is front and center in the exhibit hall, which generates a lot of walk-up business in addition to Lauren's one-on-one appointments and networking opportunities. For Travel Trade, Jennifer Walla participated in Travel Weekly's Florida Plus webinar. Jen gave a 10-minute destination presentation with live Q&A, providing an overview of the destination with updates. Over 400 travel advisors viewed live, and this presentation is available for a year on Travel Weekly's site and shareable, allowing us the opportunity to connect with even more travel professionals. Some upcoming activities for the domestic sales team. For January, Candace Coco just got back from attending RCMA's Emerge. This is the signature event for faith-based meeting planners with over 300 planners in attendance. This 2-day show features one-on-one appointments, education sessions, and networking opportunities. 9 RFPs with over 4,000 room nights were sourced from last year's show. In February, I will be attending Visit Florida's Florida Encounter. This is Florida's premier hosted planner show with over 150 qualified planners looking to book Florida locations for their meetings. In addition to my one-on-one appointments, we are a sponsor, so our logo will be prominently displayed throughout the show, providing maximum visibility and exposure. Encounter will run concurrently with International's Florida Huddle again this year. And for March, I wanted to highlight a show that Jennifer Walla will be attending. Travel and Adventure Show, Washington, D.C. Though this is not a new show for us, this is a new location we'll be joining within our top feeder markets. This show attracts between 8,000 to 25,000 serious-minded consumers looking for their next travel experience. Also, we'll participate in their Travel Advisor Passport program that's limited to 12 exhibitors, in which qualified advisors spend exclusive time with us. So that concludes. If there are any questions before I turn it over to Charm with the international report.
Any questions?
No? Okay. Thank you.
Charm?
Good morning, Charm Evans, VCB Global Sales Manager, reporting on the international sales activities for this quarter as well. During this time, the team has continued to engage and educate the international travel trade and consumers within our core markets on various trainings, marketing initiatives, and consumer events, such as the Spoiled Agent travel events in Toronto and Halifax, Visit Florida and Discover America's joint roadshow that took place in 5 German cities, and Brand USA's annual Travel Week and CEO Summit in London, where we networked and held appointments with tour operators, travel promotion companies, and key buyers from the US, UK, and European markets. And we talked about the future visitation to the US, as well as made strategic conversations revolving around the general activities within the destination, as well as some upcoming marketing and contracting opportunities to ensure the destination remains relevant. During this event also, Brand USA leadership stated that 2025 is anticipated to see almost 17 million European visitations in inbound travel. This is a new record. And as we continue to move away from the talk of COVID recovery, we are setting our eyes on continuing to create new records in inbound visitation. Additionally, Research is seeing that visitors are shifting beyond the gateway cities, and they are venturing out and seeking other areas that don't provide that direct airlift. This is some good news for us, and just like what Rob was saying in regards to the Brazilians and Colombians, we're really looking forward to them leaving those gateway cities of Miami and Tampa and just venturing out and exploring those new areas, such as our own. In December, we hosted the Destination Education FAM experience with our new UK contractor, Finn Partners. The team had an immersive experience seeing the destination in various neighborhoods, meeting with our partners throughout the area, and it was a great opportunity to see our current progress and gain additional insight into our offerings and how they can further promote us in the UK market. We are excited to have Finn Partners on board, and we are looking forward to seeing an increase in our UK market share. As always, we are very appreciative of the partnerships and generosity of our industry partners in supporting efforts such as this. Upcoming events include the Visit USA Switzerland's Island Hopping event, which will take place January 29th in Zurich, where approximately 300 Swiss travel agencies will attend, as well as Visit Florida's Florida Huddle event, which is our international appointment-based show. And we also will be attending a first-time event, the Travel News Marketplace Workshop in Copenhagen, which brings together the Danish travel trade, including the MICE market and travel advisors for pre-scheduled meetings with suppliers. And in March, we will be attending the Unite USA B2B event in London, as well as the annual International ITB Berlin Show, which is one of the largest global tourism travel events, where we will have pre-scheduled meetings and seminars, networking events throughout the week. This year, Visit Florida will also be in attendance, and we will participate and host an exclusive Florida networking night. That concludes my report. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now we'll welcome up Simone to give the update on our visitor services activities.
Good morning, Council. Simone Baer, Director of Visitor Services. Happy to report to you on the first quarter, which is obviously October through December. During that time period, our volunteers assisted 246,935 visitors and residents. There were 8,178 hours at a value to the county of $260,061. They assisted at 6 different community support events and conferences. And I just want to point out for the calendar year, we had a record number of residents and visitors who were assisted by our volunteers at RSW. So the reason why we saw such a our volunteers in the visitor information booths. We also have volunteers throughout the entire airport. We call them roamers, so they cover the airport and assist the traveling public wherever there might be a need, which is especially relevant right now with all the construction projects taking place. The top requests during that time period for accommodations was the Drury Inn, Crown Plaza, and the Holiday Inn Airport. Top attractions, aside from the beaches, was the Edison Home, 6 Mile Cypress Slough, and Lovers Key State Park. Top activities was attending festivals, golfing, and canoeing. During that time period, our volunteers helped at various community events and partner support, such as Greeting the Breeze inaugural flights, 2 conferences at the Westin, Cape Coral. They assisted at Roy Hobbs World Series, the American Sand Sculpting Championship, conference at the Marriott Santa Harbor, and at Hertz Arena. And right here you can see your very own Jay Johnson feeding lunch to our volunteers at the airport's holiday lunch, which the Port Authority offers to all employees and volunteers at the airport. And we kept our volunteers very busy attending different destination education tours throughout Southwest Florida, such as the Drury Inn, Headpins, Lee Tran, Banana Bay Boat Tour, Bailey Matthews Shell Museum, Hyatt Regency, Miramar Outlets, Refs Institute, Lakes Park, and Sundial Beach Resort. So a big thank you to our industry partners for hosting our volunteers. This is very much part of their training to always be in the know of what is happening in the destination. And they also have a lot of fun while visiting all of you. As I mentioned earlier, in October and November, volunteers register the baseball players for the Roy Hobbs World Series. And December is a really special time for us at the airport. Our volunteers love it. They embrace the season. You can see them wearing all kinds of different headgear, and we even had a volunteer dress up as Santa. And I can tell you the traveling public absolutely loves it. During December, we also honored our volunteers at the annual holiday gathering, which took place at the Doubletree Bell Tower. Looking ahead, our volunteers have started actually to work the early morning and evening shifts, which are in addition to our regular 10 to 2 and 2 to 6 shifts. This means they start at 7:30 a.m., and we have shifts running all the way through to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. Those additional shifts run from now through mid-April. And I can tell you that they're very busy. We also look forward to having volunteers at both spring training games at the visitor information booths there. And save the date for Friday, April 4th for our 35th annual Volunteer Tourism place at the Sanibel Harbor Marriott. And you'll always see your invitations. We hope you can join us. And that's it from me. And are there any questions? Yes, yeah.
Schedule all these people at the airport. I'm curious because scheduling always was
No, we have a great program called Volgistics, and we're fortunate. We are up to 145 volunteers now. They, every day they amaze me with how much they give and how hard they work. And yeah, they cover those shifts and take care of the public. Yes, yeah.
And many of them work the same shift every
Right. Yes. Yeah. Some have regular.
There's
right.
always doctor's appointments and other issues, but
right. No, they're
dedicated.
They're just very dedicated. That's exactly the right word. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And honestly, the volunteers make that experience at the airport amazing for the people coming through. And, we all of us, we travel a lot. What we have is something very, very, very special at RSW.
Thank you.
That, sir, my report is concluded.
Thank you, ma'am. Jeff, you want to give us a report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Council. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. This is now seeming to be pretty old information. I usually would give this during November. But since we didn't have a TDC meeting, it is being held now. I will also be giving a end of quarter 2024 report next month, along with our end of year. So a lot more data will come next month. So for July 2024, we filled 33,000 hotel rooms through amateur sports, direct visitor spending of about $15 million. Perfect game, as it always is in July. Is the key piece of business there, using just about every baseball field that we have available in our community. Also worked with the City of Fort Myers and Fort Myers American Little League in hosting the Cal Ripken Babe Ruth 16 and under regionals over at De Leon Park, which was nice. Also hosted, as we have now for about 8 years running as a USSSA, Girls Fast Pitch State Championships. Next slide, you'll see our decline a little bit in July. We are trying to still figure out if that is normalization from 21 and 22 when we had such a huge, massive amount of sports rolled into our community because we were open and a lot of other destinations weren't. But most of that decline is in our Perfect Game it's Baseball Championship Series. We lost about 50 teams over 6 age groups. So if you divide it by the 6 age groups, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when they're staying 7 nights per family and filling up hotel rooms, it can add up fast to a decline. So we met with Perfect Game at the American Baseball Coaches Association meeting a couple weeks ago. We let them know our concern for the decline, and we are going to work on making sure that July stays really solid with their product. Next slide is August. We can, almost skip August. But 1,700 room nights, about $500,000 in direct visitor spending. We love having the grassroots effort. We're from Hammerhead Rugby Group. That was down on Fort Myers Beach in front of Margaritaville this year. Next slide. So you can see that. Let's move to September. September was a pretty good month for us. 8,500 room nights sold. $3.2 million direct visitor spending. Again, a lot of perfect game in baseball. Half-century softball continues to be really strong for us. That's 50 and older softball players who come down for weekends. So that one weekend was 1,600. A lot of that is in the city of Cape Coral. FYSA ODP, which is Olympic Development Program, 600 room nights at our newly refurbished Kelly Road, which is nice to have back up and going. And a new sport, new event, USA Sports Karate State Championships, which they loved. Our indoor recreation centers, Lee County Parks and Recreation manages those, and we'll certainly have them back. So September would have been up over 2023 had not one of our signature perfect game events was the weekend Hurricane Helene came rolling through and dumped a ton of rain, and over half the teams, we usually have about 110 teams playing that it's called the Sophomore World Championships, and only about 50 of the 110 came because of the weather. So we are happy that it even happened, because they were talking about canceling it altogether, but we held it together, had about a 50% participation. So the Hurricanes did have an impact on our September numbers. Before I go to questions, I just wanted to mention a couple things. We had a really successful Fort Myers tip-off in November. I'll talk a little bit about that more next month. Hopefully I'll have the television numbers. As you all know, that is on FS1 and Fox Live Television on Thanksgiving Day. This year we had Michigan and Xavier men. We had the South Carolina women, which are defending national champions. And they did announce, really exciting, that next year's men's field will be anchored by North Carolina and Michigan State men's basketball. So pretty cool. I did look at the recent NCAA top 25, and as of right now, 9 of the top 25 have played in the Fort Myers tip-off now. So we are getting top quality teams coming into our destination during Thanksgiving. At the same time, we also have that very strong men's and women's product down at Hertz Arena, Gulf Coast Showcase. We are really, really pleased. If you all remember, in 2023, we hosted, or we sponsored the Women's World Cup in Ireland. And we had the tourism brand on the outfield wall, and they owe us a large training camp before the end of 2026. With that not being part of the deal, they said, you know what, we're going to bring all of our players who are in the Americas right now to Fort Myers between Christmas and New Year's. And so we had an Ireland softball training camp, which we had some great conversations about this quadrennium of the Olympic Games, and they had such a positive experience in our destination, even though it did rain a little bit on them, that they're going back to Ireland and talking to their Minister of Sports about how great of a destination we were, and if some other sports might want to come here and do some training. So that was good. And then we're right around the corner from spring training starting. We've got one of our spring training partners in the room. Hello, Katie. Red Sox start on February 21st. Twins start on February 22nd. And we also have Savannah Bananas coming to town on February 14th through 16th, which, again, I'll talk a little bit more about next month, but it'll be like literally the next day when Savannah Bananas starts. So good stuff happening. And now, if anybody's got some questions.
Questions?
Yes, sir.
Can't let you out.
I know.
Because we're both big sports people. What's the long-range plan for expanding our product offering in other sports? Because we really do golf and baseball and softball real well, And as we know, travel ball is becoming really important, as you and I talk about. We need a plan to, for wrestling, for judo, for all these things. And I know you have a limited budget, but in a perfect world, it's the 16th largest industry, sport tourism in the world, in trillions of dollars. And with the games coming to LA, Orlando's already named someone to start bringing them those sports to their direction. So if we're going to have them that close, what's your wish list?
Well, we're always tied to facilities, right? So the reason why you see so many baseball reports is because that's the large number of facilities that we have available. When we have facilities available to us, we do the best we can with putting sports tourism in there while not jeopardizing and pushing out local citizens. That's certainly an issue, Chris, we've run into at some of our rec centers. Commissioners start getting phone calls about us displacing them because too many weekends for basketball tournaments and judo events, because that's their facility. They have the right to have their Zumba class or league basketball or whatever in there. So it's a fine line of using our maximizing our spaces. I know you're working on a new facility that will help us expand our offerings when that comes. Congratulations on rebranding your pickleball facility. That's already having a lot of positive tourism impacts on our destination. So it really is tied to any facility evolutions that we have. We'll certainly put it to best use, again, in mix with citizen accesses. So we are trying to do karate and martial arts events, as you're starting to see in our reports. But again, we have to. It's a fine line on using our limited indoor spaces without pushing the citizen access out of those buildings.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Appreciate it. Pam, I'll go back to you.
So for council's information, I want to point out, I have been trying to give you a quarterly report on our activities with Visit Florida. Because I like John's combination. We're calling it Helene Milton. We put third and fourth quarter together for you. I don't know that Hilton Hotels would be real happy that we're doing that, but it may be locally. It's our own internal joke. So you have your Visit Florida report in there that explains our activities with them and shows some of the examples of those activities. And a lot of other information also. John gave us his quarterly reports on the activity with the funds you allocated for the Sandcap Chamber this year. In addition to John giving a presentation, we'll be bringing Jackie Lezak in from Fort Myers Beach to share, and a team from Pine Island, Cynthia Welsh, to come in and explain what's going on with the funds they've been allocated, and you'll get a similar report from them during those presentations. So I just want to point out those things are in your packet. Thank you, sir.
No problem. I don't know how you used to do TBC or what you do today. We used to go around the room. I don't know if that's the protocol.
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay. Pam?
I don't really have anything except Happy New Year, and let's hope 2025 totally rocks for all of us.
Thank you. Nigel?
Usually I don't have too much to say, but today it's all good. First of all, our holiday lighting ceremonies, our program that we had in the downtown area, because it's our 25th anniversary. I have never seen so many positive comments, and for the entire county, I think it was a draw. So we're seriously talking about, do we want to spend that kind of money next year? And I think as a council, we're saying yes, it was worth it. So I think that'll be great.
Amazing.
Cannot thank Lee County leadership enough for the beach renourishment project, or renourishment rehab project that's going on. That's ahead of schedule, and that's going to be incredibly important to all of us. So again, our thanks. Your little group up there, Commission. Kevin?
Pleasure.
We've had some openings. Sugar Shack, which we've all been waiting on, is 6 months delayed, but the reason for the delay was not the city or the county or anything else. They lost their restaurateur, which I understand last week that has been resolved. They have a new restaurateur, so Sugar Shack should be opening next month. And then for you that are old and brave, anybody know about cold plunge spas? So it's open downtown, and I know the people that open it. Good thing I'm not involved in tourism, because I said, who the heck is going to pay to jump in a tub of ice? Apparently a lot of people, because they're doing real part of downtown.
Really good for you.
Supposedly. I'll let you test it, Kevin. The Wonder Gardens, which has been a key to Bonita long before we were ever a city, under the new leadership, the new board that they have working well in concert with the city. If you went in there now, you probably would not recognize the place. It is clean, the facilities are being upgraded, the city is participating in upgrading some of the structures within, so Wonder Gardens is coming along well. And our city signage program, finally, phases 1 and 2 have already started, so it's not really a rebranding, but real signage, uniform throughout. And last night yesterday, at our council meeting, we did approve the final phase of signage, so you're going to start to see the new signs going up in Bonita Springs that will be, again, not just identifying the city, but directing people to the key parts of the city that we want our guests to go to. And finally, on a personal note, I can't think, there are many people in this room who reached out to Councilwoman Bogatz, who very sadly and tragically lost her young son, she and her husband Tim, over the weekend. And real outpouring of sympathy, and it's very much appreciated. So I'll again be relaying how much that was appreciated. There was a scheduling conflict. The viewing is actually tonight and the funeral's tomorrow morning, so not Friday, Saturday. It's actually today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick note on the Pine Island Chamber will be hosting their annual dinner February 10th at the American Legion Post 136, with the guest speaker being the operations manager from Randall Beach. That's all I have.
Yes, good morning. Chair, congratulations on being in the chairmanship. So thank you for stepping up, and I know it's going to be a great year for all of us. So as you heard John Lai present, we've got a lot to be optimistic about on our island. Had some pretty heavy bumps in the road, but as you know, we Sanibelians and Captivians, we march right into that storm, and we conquer it. So that's what we'll continue to do. And I just, as many of you know, but some of you might not know, we are very fortunate to have John Lai as the chair of the board of directors for Visit Florida. So it's a great opportunity for Southwest Florida to have a different voice. It's great to see that leadership in Southwest Florida. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate the work that you've been doing. As he indicated, we are in the year of our 50th anniversary. We have a lot of events. For many of you that have come out, thank you. For those that haven't, please come out and enjoy. You can go to the Chamber's site at 50yearsofsanibel.com for all of the events that are happening on our island. And it's a really exciting year for us as we don't want to, we're going to learn from what we've been through, but we really want to look forward to what we have in store for us. And again, we couldn't do that, a lot of what we're doing, without the partnerships that we have all around the county and Lee County. So very appreciative of that. I will tell you with but the chair, Tam, we do have other opportunities that I'll be reaching out to you to be looking at partnerships for the city of Sanibel. Council is really excited of some of the upcoming events, and it's going to be a collaborative opportunity for all of us. We do have, I think John gave a hint of what we're going to be seeing at the State of the Islands, which is on the 22nd, sir? Yes, on the 22nd, which will cover a much more broad scope and in-depth scope of where we are, where we're going, and exactly, again, what to look forward to. So I'm excited about that. And we just... What we've seen over the Christmas holiday was really a strong presence in so many ways, whether it was a luminary, which John touched on, which I can tell you as a councilwoman, I did not anticipate the turnout that we would have. And it is humbling to see that. And it was just so much larger than I think what anyone anticipated. So I think that will grow every year. And that is a tourist draw for many people. And that's what we are here for, right? So we look forward to that growing and prospering for all of Lee County's benefit. In doing so, we're looking at our shared use pass, and we're seeing quite an increase on that. And again, those are not our islanders as much as those coming to visit and enjoy what we have to offer, and that's a great opportunity for, again, more partnerships. And we have more education coming out on the shared use path on just how to use it, who's allowed, the opportunities for people, what they can do, where they can go. And part of that Wonder Map really kind of highlights the opportunities. And I know, Bill, you had asked me about if our Wander Map is kind of similar to what you have as well, and it'd be great to see how everything could be coordinated throughout Lee County on those opportunities, because the more we prosper together, the more our individual municipalities will prosper as well. So, and I did just want to recognize, I don't know if he's still in the audience, we have our Vice Mayor here, Mike Miller, who never surprises me when I look around and he's present. So thank you, Vice Mayor, for being here today. And that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. First, I compliment TDC. I have to say, of all the committees, boards I've sat on, this is one of the most productive. When you say something, it happens. So again, it's an honor to be among you. Steve Weathers, I guess, already spoke, our new economic developer, and he's tasked with bringing business and activities to the community. But with that said, I'm going to be reaching out to a number of you, starting with John and making some special appointments with Holly and Mr. Chairman, because we got some projects to do. Having been just reelected, I got 4 years, and we're going to push this as hard as we can for the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Bill?
Thanks. So first, thank you, Ashley. For those of you that don't know Ashley, she is actually our, if you will, ambassador to those people that were looking to come into Cape Coral and build the facilities that attract the tourism that we're all looking for. And so thank you for your presentation to bring everybody up to speed. And Holly just mentioned it. The Cape Coral Quest, we certainly wouldn't be able to do that, without the help of TDC. And when I saw the Wander Map up there, when we think about cross-pollinating people across our county, if there was some way to connect that, make some bridge between, pardon the pun, to get people after they see all their locations in Cape Coral is, hey, don't forget about the islands, send them out to the islands, and then vice versa for those that use the Wander Map in the islands to go, hey, just across the Intracoastal is a fabulous place with a lot of things and whatever, so we could cross-pollinate across the county if we maybe put some effort into that. Jeff mentioned it earlier. Right now, the shining star right now in Cape Coral is the new racket and paddle facility. We didn't know really what to call it, and so amongst some naysayers that said, oh, no one will ever go there. If you charge a fee, they can go so many places for free, they'll never go there. And so we had the management company build a pro forma on about 630 members. And so now, about four months after starting with zero marketing, we have over 1,500 memberships with over 3,000 members. And over 400 people playing a day. And that's with zero marketing. So the significance of what Jeff said is that finally, yesterday, we landed on what the facility will be called, what the logo will look like, and so it will be called The Courts, Cape Coral, Florida. And so we really expect for that to really take off, bringing the tournaments to our county and obviously to Cape Coral. You saw in Ashley's presentation, and we're getting more opportunities for room nights there with additional hotel rooms. We got to get those things built and just market it well, which I believe we are. And so thanks to TDC for all that you do for us in marketing those things, and we're doing all we can to invest the dollars and the manpower and woman power to get it done, to continue to bring people to our area. So thank you.
Cool, thank you so much.
Well, first of all, I'd like to wish a Happy New Year to everyone. A little late in the month, but it's the first time I've been with you since the new year. As compared to other municipalities around, the reports that you've given, the village of Estero has been a little slow during the holidays. As far as things that you can see, a lot of housekeeping items that have to be done at the end of the year to get ready for the new year. And so a lot of work has been done, but it's not the kind of stuff that Bill was talking about with his facilities, although we're moving in that direction. We did have and Coconut Point Mall had a very good day of holiday activities, capped off with a parade that evening. The weather was a little bit on the chilly side, but I guess chilly is relevant to where you are. Wherever I left there and went back to Indianapolis for the holidays, and so chilly was a relevant number compared to there. The sports park that we're developing at the property at the high school, I don't know if you recall or I've indicated, we've obtained the property at the high school, the Estero High School on Williams Road, with a 99-year lease, and we have a partnership arrangement with Lee County Schools to develop that into a sports park, which is moving along quite nicely as far as the design. We're supposed to have the final design at our meeting next week, and once that is approved by council, we'll move forward with developing the sports park with the baseball, softball, long fields that are multi-use facilities. They can convert the fields from a long field, which is a definition for soccer and rugby and so forth, and we can actually put 2 baseball fields, one on each opposite corner. So we'll have some more baseball fields available very shortly. So that is moving along quite nicely. The public-private partnership part of that development got put on hold just a little bit because with the acquisition of acreage that Lee County, we were able to purchase from Lee County, that put a total campus together. So we got all contiguous properties as one piece of property. And the first public-private partnership arrangement with High Five is they flipped their footprint completely to face the sports park as opposed to having their back to the sports park. So that put the design behind us a little bit, but hopefully they're going to go vertical in March and construction. If you go by there, it's just a flat piece of ground with a big lake off to the side, but it's soon going to have a lot of activity going forward. So there's a lot of optimism about the usage of that facility when it comes online.
And Nancy McPhee and Allison and I were down meeting with Mayor McLean. He gave us a tour, and we were very excited about the opportunity to promote that area. And a number of other projects that you didn't speak of, but I know there's always work going on, but I just wanted to add that.
Well, there's a lot of things that have actually become a reality now. We've been in the planning stage of this stuff for several years, getting the plans put together, the funding, of course, and now it's kind of like they all started happening at the same time. So a lot of activity going on in the community. And we're doing a rebranding of the community so that we have a brand to direct people from one facility to another, to different activities throughout the village of Estero. So to your point, the village signs, they don't come up as easy as you think. You design a sign and then you have to wait 3 years for it to get permitted and so forth. It's kind of discouraging along those lines. But
thank you. Bob?
I just wanted to say, looking forward to seeing all these properties that have been so impacted since the coming back online. I know it's been a long wait for everybody, but I think 25 is going to be good in that regard. Thank you.
Tony?
Well, last month, if you recall, I said I would bring a surprise for today's meeting. So I'm a storyteller, so I could tell you the story, but what I'll do is I'll give you the surprise, and then I'll give you the background. Now, nothing to worry about. As you know, I've been in the hotel business now starting my 49th year, and Angie and I walk a little bit every morning, and I told her, I said, one of these days I'm going to write a book. And I talked to her, and she said, go ahead, write it. She didn't want to hear anymore. So I figured that was a green light. So I didn't tell her about it for 9 months, and now I have the book out. It's called Tales of an Island Innkeeper, and it's basically my journey from start to finish. Stories of guests, stories of employees, and I always wanted to do this, and I put it all down. This is my shameless promotion, by the way.
Are you not giving it?
Shameless promotion. Now, the good news is that all the proceeds, all the sales of the book will go to the Captiva Island Historical Society.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's a lot to talk about, but I mean, I'm not going to waste a lot of time, but what was really cool was one of my guests who's been a guest for 40 years, he's a great artist. He painted a picture for me a couple times. So I said to him, I said, I had this great photo, but we can't use it for the cover. I said, would you do this? So the guy actually did a painting, and we used this. And I brought, in case anybody wants to look afterwards, I have the photo that inspired the cover, but he did the painting. The guy is so cool. But anyways, I think you'll enjoy it. John Lau, you have something to say, right? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, with the proceeds going to the Captiva Historic Society, we're going to donate $50 to the board, board money to this board. And so the next meeting, you'll have a copy of Tony's book on each of your seats, and Tony will be hosting it. He doesn't know this yet. Book signing.
Thanks, John. It was a lot of fun, and I'll tell you what, it was Randy White. Don't worry, it's not going to go on the bestseller. He's safe, I think, for a while, anyways. And I'm only doing this once. This is a one and done. So, anyways, I got to show you this, Rob. That was the picture that inspired me. That's an actual untouched photo.
I would have had it today, but they're sold out on Amazon.
Oh, wow. How cool is that?
That's it. I'm done.
Tony, I don't know if you've looked, but you have 5 stars and you're a bestseller.
Oh. Well, Randy White, look out. You know.
Look out, Randy.
I got one other thing I got to tell you. I kept this for a secret from my wife for 9 months. She had no clue what I was doing. Wow. That's the hard thing to keep. You know, you've been married for 52 years. It's hard to keep a secret. So, anyways, we're with some friends in the evening having a drink, and we were talking about books. And I had 2 of these, what they call print-proof copies. And so I gave one to each of the gals there, my wife being one of them. And Angie looks at your book, and she's going, how did you get your picture on this? You know, so I had such a chuckle with that to catch her off guard. It was a lot of fun.
Tony, what's the
I can't believe you kept it from me.
Yeah.
Either.
It was cool.
Any other comments? I'll bring it back up. First and foremost, John, thanks for the invitation for the State of the Union. I can't be there. We have a planning meeting, so the chair, it's kind of hard for me to be in 2 places at once. But thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it very much. Second, I'm proud to announce many people participated in this room. We were a recipient of a $19.3 million grant for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency relative to resiliency and what we've done over the years. We're also going to continue to update the resilient plan to include Milton Helene. So I think those are really great times, and can't thank the collaboratory enough for their partnership. And then last thing is about volunteerism. I don't know how we do anything that we do without volunteers. They're really been so amazing in my 18-year career to see how many volunteers happen. And, Sanibel's holding an event tonight for volunteers. It's at the Big Arch. There's 40 different institutions going to be there. So thank you, Sanibel. I don't have any other comments. Thank you all.